Welcome. You've arrived so soon. The Great Lake must have had favorable currents today. It's so good to finally meet you. Oh, why, that's a kind thing to say. I've been told many times that I'm pleasing enough to the eye. I've always assumed it's because I'm royalty, though. It's slightly gratifying to hear it from someone who isn't one of my subjects. Or rather, my parents' subjects, of course. Oh, I understand now. You must have fallen for the topsider gossip about us. Did you think I was some sort of nasty, slimy lizard person? Well, I've heard that's what a lot of topsiders think. It seems to be because you refer to all of us who live below ground as troglodytes. Not a very appealing moniker, if you ask me. As you can see, we look nothing like those ugly lizard people that prowl around near the entrance to the underground. Oh, does this mean that when we were exchanging letters, you were picturing me as some less than desirable creature? Something disgusting? In retrospect, it was rather noble of you to have written such sweet, sweet words, though you imagined me other than I am. You must be so relieved. Yes, it's fair. To think you agreed to marry me as well. You must be truly devoted to your kingdom to so willingly choose to marry a monster for the sake of your people. I find that I'm liking you better and better all the time. There is that. I suppose a commoner would suffer through greater trials than that for a chance to live the life of royalty. It's possible. My understanding is that your people don't get many opportunities to improve their situation. Is that true? It's all a matter of being of the right birth. Isn't that right? How nice it must be for you, then, to have been able to choose to participate in this exchange. It doesn't sound like it's common for your people to be able to create a better life for themselves. Oh, yes. Well, it wasn't exactly a choice for me. Royalty have their duties, you know. My parents chose me out of all of their children for this particular task. Yes, it's an important duty, I suppose. After all, when royals and nobles intermingle too often, the bloodline becomes corrupted. So we tend to select commoners of healthy disposition to wed instead. It was very considerate of your king to respect our traditions for this political marriage. It seems we've always traded a commoner to marry the other's royalty. I don't mean to disrespect topsider ways, but I think it's better this way. You are going to bring a very valuable perspective to what a fellow royal couldn't. Well, you actually know what it's like to be a commoner. You know their needs, their wants, their desires. Even if you're not from this kingdom, you will know things that I possibly cannot. It always made more sense to me for this, why I was not disappointed when chosen. But I'm babbling, aren't I? I must admit I'm a little nervous meeting you. Even though we exchanged letters, it's still a nerve-wracking moment. meeting one's future spouse. I'm not surprised. It must be incredibly intimidating, suddenly to be selected to marry a royal in an underground kingdom of which you know nothing. If I might ask, how does all of this make you feel now that you're here? Oh, well, if there's anything that you shouldn't be feeling, it's unworthiness. Your people normally decide on candidates for political marriages based on nothing more than parentage and order of birth. But in your case, you passed all sorts of other tests: physical, mental. You passed those tests to prove that you were a commoner worthy of a royal marriage. You've proven yourself as the most worthy person in your entire kingdom. At least of all those who applied. Yeah. You can call it luck if you like. But if you're that lucky, then I'd say you're still more than worthy. Luck can be a skill too, after all. Besides, don't forget you're doing us a great favor, just as we are doing for your kingdom, your former kingdom. You see, both of our kingdoms need this alliance. Mine has been perilously low on food for quite some time. Been tightening our belts, as they say. It's difficult to grow things down here with no sunlight. The mushrooms, the livestock, they've been mercilessly pillaged by the lizard people, so trading with you for your plentiful crops will be absolutely life-changing, life-saving for my people. And then, of course, you'll need our high-quality ore and stone. It's also commonplace for us, but as I understand it, the topsiders value the treasures of the earth above all else. Well, I digress, but I say all of that to prove that you are worthy, that you're doing something critical on the behalf of both of our peoples. You're a saint. You are a wonder, darling. So quiet. Something to think about, I suppose. How about we begin with you telling me a bit about yourself? Well, your letters were so formal, all about arranging the wedding. I suppose we don't technically know each other very well at all. Perhaps we should do that before the marriage happens. I know I would prefer it, wouldn't you? Well, tell me, what does your family do? Oh, that's wonderful. You must have gotten quite used to working with your hands then. That could be useful. Nothing. Do you think you're going to miss all that? You must have grown up assuming you'd take over the family business. I imagine it might be shocking to realize that things are going in a completely different direction than you may have assumed. Yes, I suppose I can understand that. Seems to be something that royalty and commoners have in common. Things tend to get decided for you. I suppose any chance to make a decision for oneself should be treasured, even if it's unexpected. In my case, I always knew I was going to be part of some sort of political marriage. I'm the oldest of my siblings, but it's been determined that I'm not the best suited to leadership, so this is the best way I can contribute to my kingdom. And you can't be royalty if you're not going to contribute. But All that said, I wouldn't say I am unlucky. In fact, now that you're here, you and I are going to have an incredibly easy life together. Yes, our whole purpose is to be symbols of our kingdom's union. All we're really required to do is make public appearances at some important events yearly. As long as we appear happy together, people will see that our kingdoms can get along, can work together, ensuring that flow of resources we talked about. I know, it's incredibly simple. Of course, we can do more if we choose. Yes, we have a certain allotment of the royal treasury. It's at our disposal. Yes, ours. But that'll be more a matter of our personal tastes. Personally, I'd love to do some humanitarian outreach between the kingdoms. If our job is to strengthen this bond, might as well make it fun. No, I don't intend to merely laze about in luxury simply because I've been relegated to the lowest role a royal can be assigned. Oh, dear. I think I've said something I shouldn't have. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to imply that marrying you is beneath me. It has nothing to do with you, at least not as a person. It's just that in my kingdom, all the princes and all the princesses are given land and responsibility based on their potential. For me to be given no land at all, the easiest job of all, well, it speaks volumes about me, not you. Volumes about what my parents think of me. You've scored the dud, I'm afraid. It's as if they're saying, the only thing we think you're capable of is smiling in public, dear, not cheating on your spouse. Well done. I'm sorry. I was supposed to greet you, help you feel welcome to our kingdom, and yet here I am, burdening you with my own self-pity, oversharing. Perhaps my parents aren't so wrong about me. Do you mean that? Well, no one has ever made me blush like that before. Be honest, I kind of assumed all your letters had actually been penned by someone your king hired. You know, to make a good impression. I hadn't considered that you might actually be that charming. It's giving me goosebumps. Perhaps I overshared based on your strength of character. It's strange, you know. I didn't choose this political marriage, but now I think perhaps, just perhaps, I can still choose you. Yes. Well, it has occurred to me. How can I say this more clearly? We've only just met, but I think that if we'd met under different circumstances, I have a feeling I might have decided I wanted to marry you anyway. Well, you're sweet, you're charming. I know just from you passing the tests that you're healthy, you're intelligent. And maybe you don't see it that way because of your birth, but your birth actually makes you even more unique of a specimen. I mean it. You keep bringing up your background as if that changes anything, but I'm telling you that it doesn't. If anything, I'm Perhaps the one who is unworthy. Well, you were chosen because you're the best commoner your people had to offer. I was chosen because I'm the worst my family has to offer. I'm the one they could afford to give up. Well, you're sweet to say that. How about this? How about we both agree not to say such things about ourselves any longer? Then let's just say that we're each bringing something to the marriage. We're both going to do important things for our respective peoples. I was actually feeling quite terrible about all of this before you arrived. I hated the fact that I was chosen for this union, even though you seemed nice on paper, but being here with you, feeling the energy between us, I'm beginning to believe this isn't going to be so bad. I may not technically be able to refuse the marriage, but in retrospect, that doesn't mean I can't embrace you for my spouse of my own accord. I like this idea. Well, in this case, let's make it formal. Let me get on my knees. Tell me, dear, will you marry me? Should I rephrase that? Well, I mean, at this point we will be married regardless, but do you want to marry me, darling? Yes. Today is different than I thought it would be. I'm so happy to hear you say that. I feel the same for you. I'm so glad you were chosen for this, and to my surprise, for the first time, I'm glad that I was chosen as well. I'm going to choose to love you forever, for always. Not because it's my duty, but because it's the one thing I still have a choice in, and because you are worthy of it. Yes, you're worthy of it. Shush. Come to think of it, we have just been standing in the palace's entryway this entire time. Seems you're so engaging to talk to. I didn't even realize. Come inside with me. There's a whole feast waiting for us. Come, let me feed you, my love. Boop the like button. Then the bell.